Through the centuries, music has held an important participation in society's development, impacting with profound significance and sometimes playing a fundamental portrayal in shaping our character, emotions, expressions, and collective or individual roles.
Yeah, okay. All right, fine, that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Sohan Kalirai, and I'm a first-year music student at Cambridge in St John's College, and I play violin and piano and tuba, but I try to spend most of my time doing composition, and I wouldn't call it conducting, but more sort of directing and trying to arrange concerts and ensembles, trying to find interesting ways of putting together programs and new way of presenting different types of music together.
As the ancient Greek philosopher Plato stated, music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. I agree with the philosopher when he considered music an ethereal force that elevates our spirits to the infinite, refines our minds, and glimmers our imagination.
This project was going to involve an ensemble that he had kind of put together of University of Cambridge music students, a program including some of his music, but also another couple of pieces. And they were to be interspersed with field recordings of yodeling. And it seemed this kind of extraordinary, strange, peculiar kind of program. But he was very keen to establish some kind of experimental visual response.
The concert we did, a lot of it was music that was not intended for the group that we were playing for, so we had to sort of change certain aspects of it, especially in the Julius Eastman piece and Stay On It. I mean, that piece in itself involves a lot of improvisation, and it involves sort of coordinating with other people and getting everybody to sort of be more involved and to think about the music and to listen to each other. You have another situation where you have, say, an orchestral piece of music or something. I think what I'd want to do is I'd try and find my own interpretation of it. It's sort of like when often I'm playing piano and I'd want to sort of change the way you play it so it's not necessarily as classically informed as most performances. So it's for me, it's all about trying to find some sort of twist on the music that we're playing.
Sohan shared his particular view and process of how music is performed by a group, an orchestra. The music itself makes a proper impact in us, but the collaboration between music and art, specifically visuals, can create a more powerful and immersive experience for audiences, enhancing various aspects.
When I got over here, then I sort of got bombarded by fluxes and you know, like stuff about painting, not painting nice, but being expressive and making more interesting work, you know, artistically. And that completely changed my mindset. So going from someone that sat and drew gouache illustrations of lions and wildlife scenes, I suddenly became more interested in that. And at that time I got introduced to 4AD records and the record deals of Warren Oliver. And then suddenly the two things just merged. Do you mean, you're suddenly going like, wow, you can do that. You can actually combine the art with the music. And the power of that was what I felt. Do you mean, that when I bought a record cover, I would play the music and I would look at it and it would be like, and for me that was, you know, this is before TikTok and so that had a really strong visual impact on me.
When being brought together in a more experimental way, I might argue that the poetics of each are still allowed to operate in their own spheres. So there is a genuine kind of interdisciplinary approach, or maybe an intermediate approach, but the inter means amongst or between. And so that sense in which one could have perfectly appreciated the music on the one hand without those additional visual elements, or vice versa. It could have been a piece of live painting without there being a musical soundtrack or the visual elements. But the betweenness, the genuine inter of those spaces, because it was open and because it was poetic and because it wasn't very tightly synchronized with one another or plotted or planned, that I think then allowed for what was fundamentally a different kind of experience.
For me, I like to have control, like creative control over what's happening, because I think I have quite a strong idea of what I want. And that's something I'm happy with in rehearsals and that sort of thing. But what I like is in a concert and in the actual performance, I like being able to not be standing on that podium. For me, I enjoy it way more if I'm suddenly go back into the orchestra and I'm playing in the orchestra or something and everyone's leading it. It's sort of like a collective leadership, because that feels more rewarding for me, but also I think it's more rewarding for the listener as well, because it's more immersive in a way, and you feel like you're watching people kind of work together.
The performance with Sohan at St. John's College. So I'd spoken to Ed earlier about how I just don't want to only do faces, portraitures, and how I want to just make my works more conceptual and, have more narrative. We talked about doing performance and just freeing myself and seeing how that would take me to where I want to go. And that was why I just took that up and said, okay, I think I can do this. And being there was to just work in the moment, no plan, nothing. I hadn't sketched anything down. I didn't think through anything from before until the moment of the performance. So as the band came, and I just wanted to see how the rhythm, the flow, the music, all the instruments will influence my strokes, my mood, and whatever it is that I lay down.
The idea was that she would just be channeling the musical program as it progressed and painting whatever came to her in that moment. As she then finished this series of paintings, she would then cut the canvases up and then move the different parts of the canvas to connect with other bits of canvas, and so therefore she was reflecting that notion of the broken fragments. So that in itself was just really adventurous, kind of imaginative, kind of brave. Another layer for the audience to be looking at, to be reflecting upon, given the fact that it was something like 3 or 4 days between saying, yep, I'm going to do something, and actually undertaking this live painting performance. That was kind of fairly extraordinary.
There is something extraordinary in the intrinsic relationship between music and visual art. It is an interplay of aesthetics that transcends boundaries and creates a profound resonance with the human experience. But it goes beyond that. Cymatics serves as a living testament to the unity of these two artistic realms. The interplay of frequencies and vibration translate into stunning visual formations, revealing the hidden geometries of sound. What if there's more relationship between visual art and music than we think?
At the same time, Rachel Yoon-Kyo-ju, she worked with 2 pieces. The first piece was a piece of edited video that she had developed from resources that she had sourced online, where the images as they were being produced, generated by Touch Designer, were then being responsive to the music itself. And so that was a greater kind of tie-in between the sound and the image.
Every pieces express different emotion and express different story and express different feeling. So we communicate with Sohan and just want to know what the music want to express and what the phenomenon the music wants and he wants, and according the music and the communication to making the video.
Adrian Gamboa, who was documenting kind of the whole event as well, was very much kind of part of this whole setup. And in some respects, the idea that at the very end there might be a film that managed to narrate what that live experience was, is kind of its own kind of outcome.
How did you feel working with CSBPA MA visual communication students? You could add to that working with a visual performing team.
Yeah.
I understand the burden that you had to deal with the music, deal with the getting people together, and also what's gonna happen with the guys painting and you know. But at the same time, what was the experience like?
It was great. I mean, I liked it because I think it was. I mean, a lot of the concert felt a bit like a test run in a way, because for like a future collaboration. That's what it felt like to me. I'd get there and you guys were setting up and things were happening, and it was nice. I didn't really worry about it too much, because I worried about my side of things, and it was nice to kind of have that sort of sense of, you know, you guys are going to do your own stuff. I mean, it was very, very nice, and it is. I mean, working with the visuals is great, and I really enjoy that, and I think it's something I really want to do again, and I want to do it kind of on a bigger, more planned out sort of scale, because there's a lot in it. It's almost like film in a way, you know. It's that kind of mixture of visuals and music.
For me, a really key part of a visual practice, and it doesn't matter whether you're an illustrator, an animator, a sculptor, whatever that might be, a really key part is to reflect upon the performance of drawing, the performance of painting, the performance of digital media. And it's not only in terms of a performance context, a live performance in front of an audience, but it's also just thinking about what are the affordances, what happens when you're not quite sure exactly what you're going to do, but you do it anyway. And I think that notion of improvisation, that sense of liveness, of participating in an event and adding another note to the core.
Music is something that we most humans like. You know, it's an emotional thing that gives us joy, or it can enhance a feeling. You're feeling sad, or it can help, it can cure, it can kind of, you know. And I think the visuals should support that. You know, somehow I always see it as kind of the best project is when the music and the visuals, when they're combined, become stronger.
I like it when, you know, your own personal contribution, it's you know, it has an impact, but by the end it sort of disappears into the background and you'll kind of push forward what you have, you know. And I don't like it when you're sort of at the front of it all for the whole way through. I think it's nice to take a step back and let people see what else is going on, and to see kind of the whole picture.
What Oluwaseun and what Rachel and what Adrian brought in were different ways of helping to further break the perspectives that Sohan was looking to explore through the musical program. The way in which he was then coaxing as conductor, as musician himself, the performances from the broader ensemble.
Over the pace of music, we've interlinked the very fabric of society, crafting melodies that resonate with our collective spirit. Just as an orchestra harmonizes, we have learned to listen, a touching reminder that unity orchestrates brilliance. In the strokes between visuals and sound, emotions unfurled, moods are painted, and souls are restored. Amidst this collaboration that overflows creative control and collective leadership, where harmony finds its discordant beauty, where abstract captures rhythm, we reveal bravery when we experiment, perform, and when we unite to create. Science bridges the realms of music and visual art by entangling them together, revealing the magic beneath. we grasp expressions, tell tales, and paint emotions into existence. I culminate the journey of this short film, recalling that besides recording talented people, I wanted to document a group of individuals giving their 100% into the creation of a performance that will be portrayed as a spontaneous effort that is a seed of inspiration for future generations to reference as an example of potentiality and possibility, and by all means to encourage them all to be critical and question everything.
I think I like musicians who kind of write music, or artists who kind of work on things that are more about kind of ordinary everyday objects or that sort of thing, because I think what it shows is you don't have to make art about some sort of grand idea. You don't have to make art about love or about destiny or about kind of tragedy or about success. It doesn't have to be about those things. It can be about, the very, very simplest things. It can be about, the setup of a desk, or it could be about, a piece of paper, or you can make art about absolutely anything.